Hi, my name is Geraldine Sullivan, and I'm a candidate of the Master's Program for Administration Leadership Program at Lamar University. I am doing my reflective video on my observation of Robin Pullen's room, and we are actually an employee of Humble ISD with the Mosaic program, which is an 18+ program for students that have met all their education requirements to graduate from high school and also their testing requirements. But since by federal law, they're able to stay in school through their 21st birthday. Robin Pullen is one of our teachers, one of two of our classes that she teaches the low functioning, the life skills classes. She has approximately about 8 students, 8 to 9 at times, and she has 2 paraprofessionals that work with her. On this day, what I observed is saw some really good things and good ways of students who are nonverbal and low functioning to help facilitate schedules of their day. Many different ways that the students followed their schedule were through PECs made from board makers with both pictures and also words. Some of the students are able to recognize and cite words, and other students are. Board Makers is a program that you can use to, they actually have like cartoon drawing pictures of different actions, different movements, different expressions, different things like that, and actually different jobs. But what we try to do is we try to incorporate, or actually what Robin tries to do is try to incorporate in their schedule actual pictures of possibly them doing the job, or maybe the teacher or the paraprofessional taking pictures of a task analysis of actually the job, so they can be successful and finish that job during the schedule. Another student in the class has a Dynavox, which is a box with pictures. It also has recorded voice on it to activate when this young lady pushes the picture, then it actually says what it is. Like, for example, in the beginning of the class, all the students came in. All of our students are bused from home to our main campus, and then they have each 93 of the students have different schedules. And from there, since we are busing at the seams with all of our students, they are bused to they can stay at Cambridge School, or they can be bused to Humble High School, where Robin's classroom is. We're like renting a wing from their high school. We're not under the principal, but we're actually just renting a wing just because of lack of space at our campus. So they can be bused to Humble High School, or some of our students, our higher functioning students, go out to Lone Star College, Kingwood. So from Cambridge, they can stay at Cambridge, or they can be bused to Humble High School, or they can be bused to Lone Star College. And then at midday, it rotates again if their schedule allows. At the beginning of the day, what I observed in Robin's class was that all the students came in and they knew to put their things away and to check their schedule. And each of them actually helped facilitate that schedule, to make that schedule the day before. So there were a couple of students that weren't able to make their schedule since they weren't there the day before. So Robin and one of the paras helped do that. They were kind of low on staff the day that I observed, because one of the staff members, she was actually ill, so she was home with her being sick. So she called in sick that day. So Robin worked with her. Robin worked with herself and then with another paraprofessional that day with the students. Robin and Maria is the para. They had a total of 5 students that day. And that morning, only 4 students came in, so she thought that one of them was absent. But then she called over to the main campus and found out that, yes, he was there, but yet he got on the wrong bus. He went to the college by mistake. So as you well know, in special ed and in regular ed in education, you have to really be flexible and be willing to fly by the seat of your pants at times. So she had to check with our team leader to see how he was going to get back from Lone Star back over to Humble High School. So she was able to get some support from another staff member that went over and got him. All of our teachers, most of our teachers in paras have their bus license since our program is an 18 plus program. We are out in the community 50% of the time and like to be out more than 50% of the time, just teaching the students daily living skills, self-help, functional skills that they can to be independent as possible. But let's get back to what I observed in her classroom that day. Like I said, one of the students has a Dynavox to help communicate. She is nonverbal. Another student that's nonverbal has an iPad, and he has Proloquo to go on his iPad, and also a calendar app, and that actually has the scheduling part of that app to load his schedule for the day. It's very important for us to realize that students that are low functioning and with low processing skills, and students also with autism, really are more successful when they have, when they know their expectations, when they know what their day is going to look like. And if there is any unexpected things, like for example this one student that did get on the wrong bus that was totally unexpected, then we have to front load him. He wasn't front loaded at the time, but yet luckily he did not have any meltdowns because he did get on the wrong bus. He also is very limited on speech, and he is very independent, so he probably just got on the bus and a staff member didn't really catch him. But this is something that he's done in the past, and I think that my recommendation would be to have something that he can visually look at in the morning so he knows exactly where to go and what bus to get on. We're not sure if he's doing it because he thinks he's funny or he honestly doesn't know exactly what the expectations are, if he knows the schedule for the day, because every day of their schedule is different. So they need to know exactly where they need to be at what time. We pretty much facilitate the first couple of weeks, but this is starting the 5th week of school when I observed. So he's only done this 2 other times. So maybe with a use of a visual that he knows exactly on Monday you go here, Tuesday you go here, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. He'll know exactly which bus to get on, if at all he needs to get on a bus. The Dynavox and the iPad is a district devices. They were audited for these devices. They were since they were audited for the device, they go through assistive technology. Assistive technology actually works with the student to see if this is something that he would be successful or she would be successful in using. Since both these students are nonverbal, of course it definitely would be something that that would help them. And also it's kind of something that we feel like, as our program is only like 6 years old, and it's been in works for about 10 years, but we have found the past 6 years that a lot of times students come to us 18, 19, or 20 when they decide to come. Normally we have them come when they're 18, when they're going to graduate from high school, but sometimes students or parents don't want to leave the home campus, and this is actually, we want to do the same thing that they do as their actual peers. Once they come in as a freshman, they leave as a senior, but yet their friends, their peers, their cohorts would possibly go to Lone Star College or go away to college, but yet this is another step that they can do just like their peers and go on to Mosaic. And what we try to do is we try to help facilitate the more functional skills. We don't teach academics at all. It's more functional skills. So in Robin's class, what they did was she has a very, very good culture, and I can tell that she has a very good rapport with her students. She has a very good behavior management program in her classroom, and also she has a very systematic way of doing things. She has very organized classroom, a lot of visual schedules, whether low-tech visuals, which are the form of PECs, which is also made by board makers. But like I said, we try to facilitate the visuals by using actual pictures, either of the student or another person doing that actual task, since that's more age appropriate. Let's see. Also saw a few things that I would like to have done a little bit differently, maybe have suggestions or recommendations for the teacher. But in Ms. Pullen's class, there's a wide range of ability levels in her classroom. Her class is a life skills class with a high demand and high need of all the students in her class, and with constant support. It is our goal, like I said before, for all the students to become as independent as possible. So what Ms. Pullen is working on, along with her paraprofessionals, is to help each student to become as independent as possible before leaving our program. The students came into the classroom and knew their expectations by their teacher to check their schedule. And there were 5 students in the class today with 2 teachers. And like I said, with Blake not getting on the correct bus, that was something that threw a wrench into her schedule. But she did it like a champ. She just got on the phone and did what they could do to make sure that the student was safe, and the student had a plan, exactly knew what to do. So another Mosaic teacher went over in a bus and got Blake from Lone Star College. The teacher had a very visually structured classroom with visuals schedules for all students. She had low-tech to high-tech. Low-tech, like I said before, being PECs. And then also, I felt like that this was very motivating for them. They knew exactly what they had to do because their schedule was on the wall, and actually had in their breaks that they could work for. Their breaks that they work for are ones that they chose to do their free time, either the computer or to look at a magazine, because those are something very age appropriate for an adult to do. If there is any change in the day, she makes sure she front loads them, especially the students with autism and with mental health disabilities. Important to front load them so they know that what the expectations are. The teacher had a work board for all the students, so when it was time for a break, they knew and what they wanted to do. Most of the time it was worked into their schedule, or other times they were given a choice that they could actually look at the work board and what they can do. Since the students that are low functioning have a hard time processing auditory language, Ms. Pullen would show them visually what was expected, the use of role play or pictures, or one of the students, or actually all the students, came into the classroom and were introducing themselves to everybody. And when they introduced themselves to everybody, they either used their device or used their language with the appropriate handshake, a very firm handshake, looking visually in their eye. And it was very, very important for them to realize that that was something that they would do in everyday life, to meet and greet friends, family, strangers. All the students did very well. They all came up to me and said hello to me. And then what they did was they considered on their schedule, they continued their schedule. Miss Robin had to encourage some of them to check their schedule, and when they were doing their tasks, she was very quick to check for understanding and to make sure that they knew all the different, the different tasks that they had to do. There was some problem solving actually that had to be done in quite a few of the different students' jobs. Tatiana was vacuuming, and the cord was way across the room, and she couldn't actually reach the mess that was right near me. And what she did was she couldn't figure it out. She kept trying to vacuum, get closer and closer, and then it would get unplugged. And then Robin would say, okay, now what could you do if it was over here? What could you do? And it took a time for her to realize exactly, after a couple of tries of it coming unplugged, and exactly what to do. So what Robin did was she pulled the vacuum a little bit closer when it pulled out of the wall and said, okay, around here, is there something you can do differently? Instead of plugging it over there, what could you do over here? And then she realized, oh, I could plug it in right here. So there was always check for understanding and always supporting the students in anywhere that they could go, in what direction to be successful. And another student was actually folding laundry, and to check for understanding, she made sure that she looked at her. I'm so sorry. She actually looked at her to make sure, you know, you're doing a good job, and she would say thumbs up because she is nonverbal. One of the other students was actually playing during his job. He had a job that he had to do to straighten up the store, and he would stack up the, you'll hear in the video, you stack up the Kleenexes, and he stacked it like 9 high and watched them fall. He stacked them on the top shelf and watched them fall, stacked them on the bottom shelf and watched them fall. So she was quick to come over and say, okay, Daniel, what do you need to do? These don't go up here, so what do you need to do? And she had visuals, pictures to show them exactly how high to visually to stack them. But I think it was very, very important that she had movement in the classroom to keep them engaged, and she had auditory and visual and kinesthetic is more successful to work with low functioning students and actually autistic students also, because it's important, because it's different ways that they learn to be more successful when they learn. It was obvious that the teacher worked very hard so the students are successful with the use of visual as technology and also the use of timers and computers. It's also important to know that she made sure that each individual education plan in IEP that was actually put together at their ARD meeting, that they were followed out, and whichever would best suit for the needs of the students. All of the different things that she had was very appropriate for the students, and it helped them carry out their IEPs. It was evident the teacher is organized and thinks outside the box, and she works very hard with her paraprofessionals to carry out individual lessons. Some suggestions that I would have is maybe some of the individual jobs that she had within the classroom have more visuals, picture visuals on what the expectations were, because I think that would be more successful, because some off-task behavior, off-task with the jobs were because I think the expectations weren't clear. But I think that was some small part that she can do. She's an excellent teacher, and she does a very good job, and I really enjoyed observing her class. It will help me as a future leader to look for different things in different classrooms to make sure that the students are successful. And thank you very much. I had a great time.